Hello everybody, my name is Trollmaker. Today I'm doing a Wargame Red Dragon cast. This is a NATO versus NATO. And we have on the blue side, he says his name is not random, and it's true, he's not actually random. He's actually Mesrine, who is one of the top rated players in the game and has been for quite some time. He used to go by the name Mesrine Foyu. And his opponent in the red is in fact going to be from RKKA AmberT, who is also one of these very, very high rated top players in the game. So this map here is called Nuclear Winter is. As you can tell, Mesrine has gone with the Scandinavian Mechanized deck. This means a ridiculous number of Scandinavian units, including the Wargame Jager, which of course is very, very good. The Scandinavians are known for pretty cheap, low-level infantry, but in this case he's chosen some of the best from the Scandinavian offerings. He's gotten some pretty weak sauce tanks, which will unfortunately only be able to deal with mostly vehicles. But worth noting is the ridiculous number of planes he has that are able to deal with ground. He only has one air superiority unit, the block, so if he's faced with an air superiority player, he will be in a lot of trouble for his general strategy. AmberT will be running around with a general purpose American deck. This gives him a lot of great options for a lot of scenarios. Worth noting is that he's only gone for 2 tanks, and they are in fact the exact same one, the M11P Abrams, which is considered to be a medium tank. However, this will be able to wipe out a lot of the cheaper tanks and vehicles that will be provided by the enemy. In terms of his air categories, he's looking pretty light in terms of air superiority. He's gone for mostly a ground approach here. He also has that really OP unit, the Patriot, as well as a lot of infrared support to try and deal with that. It's coming. Nuclear Winter is coming is actually a very challenging map to play, and it's actually one of the better ones for 1v1. Now, one thing worth noting is that there are 3 bridges in this middle area, 2 bridges to each base, and the bridges themselves are kind of problematic because once you control certain areas over here, these bridges become rather unimportant and do not actually link these 2 battlefields. They tend to operate very separately because there are rally points here and here and here and here. So the bridges here are actually very useless, and it should actually be for balancing purposes land they can cross. But they had to go up the rivers, so that's what they did. There's a bit of a mixed strategies that tend to go here. One, generally you want to rush this middle location here because this is only a land route over here. This is your air route. So you want to try to rush towards the enemy's air route with as much forces as you can. And if both of you are doing this, you should basically hit around this town here. This town is usually a place people will fight over and use these woods and these woods here for tanks and AT and AA and whatnot. The rest of this map has a rather problematic fate. You want to invest as much as you can over onto this flank without losing this flank. As time progresses in the game, this side over here will become more and more important because if you note the numbers on the map, 2, 2, 1. Over here you only have 1s. These are the bases you want to be fighting over. But this air route is super important. And so generally speaking, early on you'll want to invest a lot towards this route and a few towards this route. And then as the game progresses, flood more over onto this side over there. So with that, we have it gone and away, and we can see right off the bat a lot of the V150s being used here in this very American deck. He's gone for mostly, in fact, all ground-based approach here, which is pretty common. It's a very short path, and you can defend this rather easily. And we'll note that for Mesrine, he's also got a mostly ground-based approach. He's got 1 Bell 204, which he's going to be using for some reconnaissancing abilities, I suspect. And lots of man pads being used here. Both players going for what looks like a pretty strong endgame. And Dragon being flooded here. This could be a bit of a cheese. In fact, not going to use them for it. He does, in fact, move off. The Avengers were more than enough to scare him off. Didn't actually see it, but looked like he was going to go for some kind of cheesy attack here, which did not work out. So here's what I'm talking about, the hit on the middle. Now, in terms of like low level play, you tend to see a lot of tank rushes on this map. You see a lot of powerful all-in pushes here. And at the higher levels, though, you tend to see a lot more flooding on the other side of the map, just because both players are kind of seeing how the game goes. So, you know, unfortunately for AmberT, has a slight disadvantage, not able to get this town, and this town will in fact go to Mesrine, which means that he will be able to siege this area here. Now there are some Falstrom Yagros here, which are going to be doing some covert nastiness on the other side, perhaps trying to get into one of these towns. And there's actually a nice ton of vehicles here. Now there is an Abrams here from RKK AmberT, which you can use to actually pick off a lot of these vehicles. And some of these Swedish vehicles are pretty nasty, but nothing compared to the M11P Abrams in that regard. Humvees, of course, are also like probably the best transport in the game. Super, super powerful. Looks like he's going to suicide this one, though. It's getting a little bit too close to the action, and it will, in fact, go down. First blood will go to Mesrine, seconded by a quick kill from AmberT. And looks like he's going to try and push in here with his US Marines and Delta Force, and given the size of this, it should be unwise, but he might actually be able to make it. A lot of the units here brought in by Mesrine are actually AT and AA. They're unable to actually fight in this battle. Delta forces should go down right now. Yes, looks like they will. And the U.S. Marines will continue firing in the distance. Not sure if he's going to continue engaging with these. And actually just going to try and use the range of the fire position command. Using the Abrams and the LVTP to fire position on this area here. And able to pick up a little bit. The U.S. Marines actually going to go ahead and move in now. Note the morale in these units is quite high. Shaken, not stirred, if you will. And this should get reboot. I mean, there's no good reason for this to happen. It's 30 versus 30 with a little bit of support here. But with the morale changes here, these infantry will be able to actually clear across the field and jump into this near-sided town here. Quick shift in here by Mesrine, and US Marines will jump on top. If he can get these tanks involved, yes, he will. Looks like he'll be able to get that foothold that he so desperately needed. And the Abrams is going to do his job and provide all that support. And he's actually going to try and move these US Marines around to try and pick off some of these anti-tank and anti-air units that have been sitting in the back and are very, very easy to kill. He's also still providing vision for these vehicles to hit the LHV. And yeah, this is unfortunately for Mesrine just kind of a nightmare. Looking on the other side of the map, we'll kind of see that Mesrine has a lot of stuff moving behind any lines, trying to grab some of these towns here, and he's actually been very successful in doing that. Oh my god, Vegans gets off the tank here, and once he grabs these towns, it's going to be basically impossible for him to reinforce. The Cobra being rallied out so quick, you're going to get rid of those guys, and we have a Striv 10-2, it's a Swedish tank, that's all that matters. Going to go ahead and bum rush in here, try and take out the TACOM. Now, there's still a decent number of forces on the map on this side here for AmberT, but not so many. He's got this Abrams here and this Avenger, and they can be taken down pretty easily with the amount of air that's being propped out here by Mesrine. Delta Force being stuck in here, great location for those. It's going to take a nice bit to remove those as well. And as we look in, US Marines actually going to finally get removed. Kind of knew they wouldn't last. They actually did a ton of damage, though, wiping out most of the forces here, and now it's just the Abrams and the Avenger left, so that's just not enough. Falstrom Yager is in a great position right now. It's going to provide lots of scouting information. On top of that, it could possibly kill a command in the future. And still, to this point, we don't have a lot of commands on the map. So we have the Drakens actually going to be out right now, as well as the Fighting Falcons, so huge air strategy here from Mesrine, who is just trying to, looks like sucker punch this Cobra. There's not a lot of anti-air in the air, actually, so he's been able to just move around and have a lot of fun with these guys. And Panzer Bill trying to move into a position to spot anything at all. And these forces in this movement here by Mesrine is very, very good. This guy is a very solid player. Nothing against AmberT, of course, but I just think that AmberT is a little more famous because he has a lot more coverage, whereas Mesrine remains a little bit unknown because he kind of plays in the darkness. And this vehicle should pick off these Dragoneers very easily, as well as some LHVs if he continues moving them forward just a little bit. He wants to unload his infantry into this town over here, no doubt, just so he can kind of protect this flank from any future infantry attacks. And the more we go through this game, the more the lines of attack are being decided here. Looks like he's deciding to keep this Striv 102R in position here, rather than scout out for a infantry. probably just in fear of what waits. These Strib 102Rs actually don't have that great of optics, so they won't actually be able to see anything anyway, just for maybe a potentially cheap kill here and there. And looks like AmberT is going to go ahead and move in more infantry, and the Fallskrim Jager actually going to go ahead and try and rush around. He might actually try to go across the bridge and go in for a kill, which would be crazy. We'll have to keep our eye on that Fallskrim Jager. He could be very, very important in the future. And the Cobra is back, fully reboot, lots of ammunitions, has like those awesome double rocket pods and a minigun for dealing with those infantries, and we'll be able to wipe out quite a few of these. Will he spot the Striv? That's a good question, and looks like it will remain here hidden. Oh, he has seen it, and looks like a Striv. He's going to fire upward. Well, he does have that MG nest, so I guess he could do that. And that little surprise wasn't that caught, which means not much for him right now. AmberT actually has some infantry in this 2 spot right here. That's brutal. Now we do have our first extra command has come out here for Mesrine, which is going to give him a decent sized lead here. And you know, with this Panzer bill here, it's going to be very, very difficult for AmberT to actually grab this Charlie base. He's going to have to actually rally quite a bit here. His focus has been on this front here, which is very, very important. And it's worth noting that it's actually weakening quite a bit. Now, his second attempt at the U.S. Marine surprise has not actually worked out. He lost a lot of vehicles, possibly from laziness. And he's going to have about 50 U.S. Marines in here now. There's actually not that much here, but he probably doesn't know about that. Really, from Mesrine, I'd like to see him micro back these infantry all the way back to this back town here, and move a supply truck right here to just rebuild these forces, because the thing is, their veterancy is going up very high. Note the second one, when this is Bolstad, it's got 5 veterancy, which is the highest you can get. The other one's 3. And if you can keep these high vetted cheap units alive, they will do so much damage in the future. You want to keep them alive. Delta Force are going to be able to sneak on through here, and they grab a more forward town location, and will in fact be able to destroy a few vehicles here and there. And with this more forward location, they'll be in a very good position to actually just move a column of tanks or vehicles through here to get rid of this Rover KPV, sorry. And U.S. Marines will in fact push off these RBS 70s. You know, not much to say about that. The RBS 70 is like not bad for a Scandinavian deck. It's not a bad anti-air unit, but it's definitely not the favorite man-pad out there, and it kind of goes to show. Easily pushed off. Sneaky Mesrine has 1 vehicle in here, which gives him perfect vision here for artillery. Does he actually have any artillery? Not just yet. Maybe in the future plans. I would definitely go for it myself if I was me playing this game, because Fallskrim Jagers going behind enemy lines can do ridiculous amounts of damage. U.S. Marines are going to try and pick off the rest of these anti-air units, and Navy SEALs actually being spotted here. Vegan's going to go ahead and slide in here. Looks like he's actually going to get killed because it's lack of attention, perhaps? No, apparently not. Alas. Panzerbill actually moving into a more strategic location here. Weapons look like they're still on. Avengers being pushed away, and an Abrams actually being pushed in to clean it up. I'm suspecting the Panzerbill shot the Avenger, now the Abrams has been used to come kill it. Not a bad idea, and this will actually allow him to finally expand to this Charlie location. Unfortunately, he spent, 75 actually. 75 points on that Abrams, and that's not good. He's got the Draken out here. They're probably wanting to get this Abrams, but not happening. And oh my god, the Patriot missile has arrived. Most OP 2-shot pistol in the game. Here we go. Oh, just misses. It's got a super, super long range, though. Everyone loves it, except for people it's used against. They hate it. Horribly, horribly hate it. And U.S. Marines, numbers going down. Down, as LHV are moving in. I'm not sure if I agree with this move, but here comes the bomber, and this is a part of that big mass air strategy, and AmberT preferring for the ground has gone with a lot of anti-ground units, and there goes all the U.S. Marines. The LHV will in fact be able to move on in, and once they can get that great cover, they're going to be able to snipe off the Avenger, and perhaps even that Abrams as well. On this eastern front here, we have the LHV getting decimated by this very, very well-placed Delta Force unit. The Delta Force carries that great shock trooper unit. With the amount of veterancy it's building up, which is full, by the way, they're going to be doing ridiculous amounts of damage, and they're going to be very, very difficult to remove. We also have that M11P Abrams moving into a kind of a side position here, and he's going to be able to pick off any vehicles that head this way. As long as he gets into a forest area like right here, that'd be perfect. And just pow, pow, pow. So yeah, looks like this LHV is in fact pushed away all of these units here. Keep in mind, he's keeping consistent with his anti-air defense. He has his Avenger, which is your Stinger, your infrared up front. Then he has his Patriot behind, and it's a radar-guided weapon. And this way, if an anti-radar plane was to arrive, it would get hit by the Avenger while trying to go for that Patriot. Fall Scrimjager still moving into position here. I just don't see how this could work right now, just given positions of AmberT's units here. But it's definitely a worthwhile investment. You can never get any unit all behind enemy lines. That is so super. Speaking of behind enemy lines, there's an LHV in a very awkward position. He's actually burnt through 10 of his lofts. This is like the cheap Scandinavian rocket launcher. There's this picture that flooded Reddit of like a training exercise with these things, and they're actually just, instead of reloading their lob, they're just throwing them away. And apparently that's like a realistic tactical thing to do. And you know, Mesrine playing very good. He's trying to use these bombers to make the difference, and there's not a ton of anti-air units here. He's got to focus that bombing on the infantry and those rockets on the Abrams. The Avenger, of course, is the one thing that's kind of like souring this anti-air strategy. The Patriot by itself, just one Patriot, is absolutely deadly in that regards. And Mesrine has actually been able to push up AmberT all the way into his hotel base, and really this is probably AmberT's big game right now. He's got to get a command on this 2-point base right here, and he has to be able to keep sieging this area. Currently, Fall Scrimjager pushing on these Delta Force, and it looks like there's some vehicles trying to come in here to support, but the Abrams, once again, that key side shot position here. Side shots are super, super important because side armor has weaker armor, which gives you higher crit chance, which means more damages. And looks like these Fall Scrimjagers, with the support of the infantry fighting vehicles, might able to actually make the difference. Oh, the Vegan gets that Abrams. This is kind of like the Terror. And the Avenger, not even actually firing on the Vegan there, probably didn't have his weapons on in that particular instance. And now with these infantry here, he's actually going to lose this entire position. Fall Scrimjager, not even going to move. They're just going to fight completely open, and finally going to move just a little bit as the Delta Force moves. We have the LHV moving in as well, and that should be able to stabilize that position. There's actually Dragoneers over here. That could fight off the Delta Force, but looks like he's waiting on that totality of numbers. And just this 2-point advantage that Mesrine has had is having a huge effect. Here comes the bomber, going to try and wipe out that Delta Force in one final shot. And looks like it was pretty good. More than golden. And the Fall Scrimjager, of course, full veterancy, able to move on as well. Like, yeah, a 2 veterancy infantry fighting vehicle. It's very, very rare to have infantry fighting vehicles that actually have veterancy. LHV, no heat left. They're just getting picked off completely by its V-150. There's really not much they can do. These bullets that they're firing, unfortunately, basically bounce off most of the time. They don't do a lot of damage. And Mesrine, proving to be a total badass here, has pushed AmberT out of most positions here. A command is finally coming out. I'm not sure where he's going with it, because if he was going for this Charlie base... Oh, here comes the Charlie base one, speak of the devil. And this might be what will keep AmberT in the game just a little bit longer. Now, Fall Scrimjager has taken this town here, but worth noting, this is not an ambushing location. From here, this town, nothing moves. This is why it's kind of weird and wonky. He actually has to wipe out this Vulcan before he can get to the TACOM, but if he wipes out the Vulcan, it reveals that he actually has a unit there, and that will allow AmberT to respond fast and furiously. U.S. Marines fighting against these LHVs. Basically, the U.S. Marines should win this, but with Abrams and LVTP coming in, once they can get some good angles, shots on, they should be able to make the difference. I'm surprised we don't see another Fighting Falcon doing the bombing runs here just yet. And actually, we're going to see a Rover KPV getting rallied in. He's going to try and take this little bit of forest here. Now, keep in mind, he doesn't know about any of the commands of AmberT yet. This is his attempt at saying, "Get out!" which is basically like, you've been here too long. And now he knows, of course, because the infantry have in fact come in play. The TACOM, a super, super solid combat infantry that everyone seems to use. Everyone. And now currently we have AmberT with a little bit of a points lead, but that'll be very short-lived because the... he doesn't have a points lead, and it will be short-lived that he's tied, because the Rover KPV is going to try and come in and take this little corner here. Now, there's tons of infantry around here, so it's not actually that hard to remove, and there's actually no real way for him to defend this. Dragonaires not joining in this fight. Look at the range on these two units. Both of these infantry fighting across borders. The Dragonaires not even getting involved here. And it looks like pretty good marshalling move up here by Mesrine. His emphasis will, of course, be on this 1-point base. This is the tiebreaker base, if you will. And once he clears out this area, he might... Yes, that's exactly what he's going for. The Fighting Falcons dropping some bombs, trying to clear out guesses, because he doesn't actually have any eyes here, so he's just guessing. Possibly infantry here. Not the crushing blow that we all thought it would be. Still a ton of infantry left there, U.S. Marines still alive. And looks like he's actually going to try and push up into this 2 base, which is actually rather smart in terms of the dynamics of the map. The 2-point base gives 2 points, which is far more valuable than a base that gives 0 points. And Rover KPV actually just going to sit here for now. Decided not to throw that away for some extra points. And yeah, we have a vehicle move up here into Charlie, and he'll probably... With air support, he should be able to take this, because the Abrams can get wiped out by those vegans easily. And here comes a helicopter bomb rush. The Draken actually going to come in here and try to intercept. We have a man here firing as well. And 2 rockets go off. 1 of them go down. More vegans coming in. These are not the regular kind. These are your regular anti-tank kind. And these Cobras might actually be able to do some game-changing differences here. Keep in mind they have the rocket pods. And that will be able to get rid of this. Yeah, command goes down. So that's kind of a big deal. He's going to have to rally in another command. Now, it does appear he does have 2 commands on deck, so he should be fine in that regard. But that's a lot of damage to be done for, basically pretty cheap. That's basically kept him back in the game, and now he's going to be bleeding out his opponent. And whoa! Block gets caught off guard, and the ground-based approach might finally be paying off here. But he will get another pot shot off, clean up that last Cobra, and now he's going to have to get out another command. And he just was quickly pulling out everything, like the bombers, to try and kill a helicopter. That's how scary that situation was. And it kind of reminds me that Mesrine has been very dependent on this air force. He doesn't have much of a ground force. The Abrams coming in this great position now. And this is when Mesrine wants those planes to come out and just wipe this out, because he can pick that Abrams up very easily right now. Delta Force should wipe out this LHV, and I say should because really there's so many realistically random factors here that who knows. Panzerville will try to come into support, but it shouldn't be more than enough. The Delta Force, very, very potent. These cheap Scandinavian units did get a buff, but not enough of one. The Bell 204 are going to come in here, and it is an anti-infantry helicopter, but it needs vision, and whoa, here comes the bombs! Looks like they will score a successful hit, wiping out both units, basically. And command here taken by AmberT. AmberT is basically getting back in this, kind of ruggedly, actually. And the vegan kills that Abrams again. This has been the kind of the crick in the back of AmberT here. As he's been able to get these big, heavy tanks out, they've been getting picked off by these bombers. He hasn't been able to field a very effective anti-air solution, shown in the fact that Mesrine has been able to take out so many tanks here, and infantry once again able to infiltrate this town, and not much of a backup left here. And as these little plays happen, like it kind of comes in the favor of AmberT over and over again. And Falskrim Jager still on the move, and this might be the end of him. This is what we've been waiting for, people. Can the Falskrim Jager get any kills? Now, he does have these Eriks, which are fairly potent. He has to get a side shot here and not reveal himself, and here comes a reveal! It should get wiped out here. Abrams gets a pretty nasty shot on him, though. And stunned, and that should have been it. Yes, it is. So yeah, that's kind of the situation. The second you reveal yourself, solutions come in, and he actually was immediately rallying out an anti-infantry helicopter, so that play didn't have anywhere to go. It's kind of something you do against someone who's bad, because bad players will fall for that very easily. But who knows, it could have worked out to something. Here comes our bombs once again. The Hemet is in the wrong location, though. He needs to pull back. Oh, snap. He gets both of the major infantry squads, and all that's left here is the Navy SEALs, which are a recon infantry squad. And command has been redeployed here by Mesrine. Grab that Foxtrot location. And yeah, things are looking pretty good for AmberT, actually, finally. Here comes the rocket pods. These are the anti-infantry Skyhawks. In airland battle, these are referred to as Noob Hawks. Because they were used so often. You could have got like 8 or 9 of these things in airland battle and just spammed them on anything at all. In Red Dragon, though, it's a little more specific. You're looking at something that is pretty good against vehicles, pretty good against infantry, but everything else not so much. And looks like he's going to go in and spam out some Skyhawks to try and make the difference here. And going to go for the skirmishes, perhaps? Nope. Looks like he's actually just flying over the sky here. And there is no anti-air units actually out right now for Mesrine on this particular flank. So he could do a decent amount of damage. Here comes the Skyhawks again. Just 2 of them in the sky right now. The other thing that was rather overpowered about them was actually their ammunition. They could actually restock their ammunition insanely fast. And looks like AmberT wants to get these skirmishes before they get too close. It's only anti-air in a command here. And unfortunately, he's not using the fire position command. He might be looking for an actual shot here. Fire position command, of course, works with every single unit. I don't know what people have it binded to. I have it binded to T per target. And we have an anti-infantry helicopter moving up here to try and wipe out these skirmishes. Now, the skirmishes have a pretty deadly range on them. So unless they move it in the open, which they're about to do, this Cobra might have a bit of problems here. So here we go. Ooh. And he's not even going to get the rocket pods off. That's kind of what we expected to happen. But here comes the helicopters crashing down, do a little bit of damage to the skirmishes, and they're about to move in for that command kill. And AmberT forced to pull a command back. And in fact, we have 2 commands here. Sooner rather than later, we should see a neutralization of the zone. There we go. And it's falling back that AmberT's in trouble again. Now, we've seen some air deployments, and unfortunately AmberT has not been super effective with these planes. Needs to use that fire position command. Whoa! Draken coming in to try and snipe those Skyhawks, but there's Avengers and Patriots here. This is rather risque. Oh my god, he got the Patriot! That is disgusting. It was out of ammunition anyway, but it's a huge loss regardless. And the skirmishes actually moving into the Avenger gets him too. And also going for that last Abrams. This is the same Abrams that killed the skirmishes before, so this might be sweet revenge. It is sweet revenge. This is the highest, most valuable player of this team here for Mesrine, who has just been a total sick nerd baller. Now, AmberT is out of here. He is gonzo, and Mesrine proven to be a solid, super sick player in this ranked game. Does in fact pull out the win. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Trailmaker. Thank you for watching.